I'm a high performance athlete. Athletes sweat. Sweat, baby. Sweat, sweat.
What is up, everyone? Indyboi Racing here. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. And as you just heard, we're about to get sweaty, okay? Things about to get hot and heavy. And as you already see here, we're jumping in. We're jumping in right into the action. I got my hand raised. I'm noticing a problem right here with my car as I want to get ready for qualifying. I want to set some spicy laps. And I'm like, dude, my throttle's stuck. It's just stuck on go. And you may be thinking, Kenny, Indyboi Racing, what's going on? You want top speeds, right? Who cares if the throttle's stuck? Thing is, guys, everyone, I want to do it fair. I want to do this right, all right? So I hop into a new cart. I'm trying to get going. He's like, yo, okay, what's up? You know, it's early in the morning. I don't care. I'm like, listen, I'm already buckled in, okay? Get this thing going. Get this thing ready because I need to be out there putting in laps, passing people, waving to them by. Nice inside shot of my camera here with my balaclava, as I like to say, baklava. It is not the pastry. It is a fire protection under the helmet there. Thumbs up. Cart's ready. I'm in number 8. And actually, fun thing is, I rode number 8 actually last week when I just came to the track for fun. And solid cart. Just amazing handling. But today, some issues with some oversteering, but I'm gonna pass this guy. I don't know what he was thinking. He must have been in a daydream thinking he was at the top in precision. I'm about to get passed by this guy, but I'll make quick work of him. No worries about it. Right there, swing out wide. I kind of pushed him out a little too far, but you know what, coming to this hairpin, which was my problem, and as you see here as I fight the cart, that is not because I'm a bad driver. That is because, as I was mentioning before, started getting into some battling here, is my cart this time was dealing with some oversteering. Alright? But I made those passes there in qualifying, and we're gonna jump ahead because after I made those passes, I have been behind these guys for 4 laps. That's now 4 minutes. And this guy has a cart like none other. And I was finally getting my tires heated up. I was finally getting the graining off of them. And finally, I make a pass, a little bit of bump and go action. He kind of swings out wide, but you know what? At this time and place, you gotta have your elbows out. So I make that pass, but here in the double apex, I lose some speed. He thinks he can get his nose in there, but not today. On the straight line, this cart had some speed, but not as much as others, because up here, 27, he was just, it was phenomenal how much speed his cart could pick up. Like, I am nailing the racing line. I am taking every turn with pedal to the metal, no need to lift off. I do deal with some oversteering here and there, but I've been fighting it so perfectly and managing it well that I have been making some time. But these guys, the only reason I feel like I'm catching up is because they're fighting each other. They have been fighting each other for quite some time. And I have learned when you're at the top of the pack, as you see here, I'm in 3rd place. Alright? We're fighting for podium here. And the only time I could catch up is when they were fighting. That's what happens when you're up there with the top dogs. I'm thinking here in this hairpin, I finally made it. But nope, oversteer, understeer got me, swung out wide, hit the dust, fought the curb, and yeah, dropped me like freaking my mom did when I was a little kid. True story. Anyways, we don't have to get into that. Talk about that enough. But that's what happens. You make up time, you stick to your racing line, and sometimes you lose it all. But I finished in 3rd, and that got me this amazing positioning here. Green means go. As we start flying, you're wondering why I'm shaking the cart like it's a little baby. Don't ever do that, by the way. It's because the tires are a little cold, so you gotta give them a little shake, little shake and bake. Get some heat into them, hopefully some grip. Look at this guy, he comes flying. I've already dropped 2 positions. I am now in 5th. And I believe, I was like, man, this may just be the race, because I know that these guys are top dogs. They're in some good karts, because previously in qualifying, I may have got lucky, but they were right behind me the whole time. But this time, I'm behind them, so I'm going to watch their racing line, see what I can do, see what I can get done, see what happens. And we're right here down the main straight, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm making some time. I'm going to pass these guys. No, Devin here, this little guy right here, he's about 12 or 13 years old, but my goodness, watch out for him, because he is thinking about getting his own kart, and this guy knows how to shred the track up. Obviously, he's passing me. He knows how to manage his tires. He knows his braking points. He knows where to make his passes, because this guy started in 22nd place. That's dead last. He was in dead last, and here he is now fighting with the top contenders. And I'm not saying I'm a top contender, but this weekend I was feeling pretty good. Okay, some people were out of town, so I actually stood a chance. But we don't have to talk about that either. So let's just say I was a top contender for this race, and I'm finally catching up, because if you've noticed, they've been bumping, tagging each other, bump and go, losing their braking points when that happens. And like I said, when you're in the top, you just gotta wait for these guys to fight each other and make desperate moves. As you see, I'm trying to do here. I'm getting right behind Devin. I'm trying to set myself up for the turn. Gave him a little bump. We kind of fight here in the turn. He looks at me like, what are you doing, Kenny? What's going on? I'm like, you know what? Forget about it. I'll get right behind him, get here in the slipstream. And the slipstream quickly disappears from me in this lap, because his kart was flying. But he was slow into the first turn, bumped him, and that benefited him more than me. So I lost some time there. And I was just like, you know what, now I'm fighting my kart, double apexes, now we're coming into a hairpin, I am losing time. I'm starting to get in my head, losing my confidence, but I was like, you know what, try to keep your head down. Try to just race your race. Don't focus on positioning, just stay where you're at. Beat the clock, because in racing, you know what, at Arrive and Drive, that's what we're really racing for. We're just trying to improve ourselves. So even though we're fighting for the podium, but in the end, does it really even matter? Anyways, that was cheesy. But as you see, some passes here are happening, some fighting. I'm focusing on that, because you don't want to focus on just one kart ahead of you. You want to focus on all of them. And look what's happened. I'm now here, maybe with the pack. I'm like, hey guys, can I be a part of the Wolf Pack? And they're like, nah. Our karts are faster. Get out of here. And as you can see with the straight line speed, 27 there, he jumps ahead. I try to get past Devin, and I know we're going to be fighting for the first turn, whoever gets in there first. And that was me. I finally flew in there hard. Kart loses it. He spins out. Was not a repeat of last race, because if you know, last time that did happen. I got bumped, lost some time, dropped some positions, but not today. Not today. Maybe on the hairpin, but no. Seems like I stuck behind those guys for quite some time, and I did. 4.5, 5 laps later, we're coming down the main straight. I'm thinking, I have another opportunity. I've passed Devin. I've held my elbows out for way too long. And of course, I'm like, listen, you've got the high speed. You gotta just pass me. But he lets up, and it just messes us up here. We get bumpy. Those guys go into the dirt. I bump into him because he's trying to avoid an accident. These guys finally rejoin the track, sandwich me in, and now we're fighting for positioning. What a mess. Sometimes when you try to do the right thing, you know, you try to let that faster car pass you because you're getting blue flagged. You know, you just sometimes just have the confidence and fly through, okay? Because obviously he slowed down, I slowed down, we went through there together, and on that first turn, you can't do that. You really can't. And it caused some issues because the guys up ahead did the same thing. They went out way too wide, hit the dirt, spun out. He's like, well, I don't want to cause an accident. And he did the right thing. He thought of himself. He stuck to his racing line. He avoided the collision. He avoided injury. So good on him, because hey, he's the one who in the end of this race finishes I believe in third. So here we are. I've dropped some positioning, but I finally have caught up to the pack, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna be in fifth place. I gotta be in fourth. Oh, right now, sorry. Right now I'm in sixth. I gotta be in fifth. Even though I've dropped 2 positions, I don't want to drop any more. So I finally caught up to this guy, and this is after some clean racing. This is one of the guys that I got sandwiched with, and finally I'm catching up. I know that this part of the track I can do amazing. I catch some speed. I know on this far left and banked turn, I can definitely just fly in. Look at that. He loses the speed. I do get some understeer, but it sets me up perfectly for this next set of turns. Get the right-hander, and here we are. This is where I know I'm going to set up to make this pass. Oh my gosh, I've been talking too much. Do you hear this? Get some water. Alright, jump forward a little bit because I wasn't ready to make the move just yet. Struggled through the hairpin here, and I'm thinking, yes, I can make the move. But no, we're going to fight through this because he was not ready to give up the position. He knew I was behind him that whole time, and so was this guy right behind me, ready to make the move. He was watching the top contenders, and he's like, they are fighting, and this is time for me to pounce. And of course, I sneak behind him, make the classic move here I always tend to do on this left-hander. You think they learn, you think they try to do the same thing, and I'm being serious. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. There's only once I've been blocked there, and that's because the guy did the same thing that I normally do. And look at here, I come in on the inside again, and that's because eventually, after so many laps, these cars will start to deal with understeer. They will start to go out wide because your tires are heating up. They're losing grip. It's causing you to brake more. You're having to lean forward more. And look at here, I'm going out wide. Same issue. And you just become exhausted at this point. And this is what happens when you're on this race right here. This is the race before the final race. And look, I went out way too wide. This guy sneaks in on the inside. He's like, I've learned from you. And I go in here. I go in on the inside. I'm like, if I'm going to fight my car, I'm going to do it on this. Because everybody's hitting that turn a little bit way too wide. Because as I'm coming up getting ready for the hairpin, the dust is just settling. So that tells me everybody's going wide and doing the same thing. Trust me, karting is not just about watching and going in circles. Fancy circles, mind that. You got to pay attention to the kart, your environment, everybody around you. Okay, so there's so much that goes into this. While you're fighting exhaustion, your arms are fighting the car. Look at this, dust goes up. That tells me I have the possibility to get right on this dude's rear end and make something happen. So we're going to jump forward a little bit here because I think I do. I think we're going to make something happen. I've been racing for quite some time. I've made up a couple positions, and nah, it looks like I'm just going to lose this position. Maybe put up a fight for it. I go in on the inside. I do. Oversteer gets the best of me though through that turn. If I just kept it clean, gotten the grip and traction to finish out that exit, I would have held my position and I would have been the one trying to defend on this straightaway. But of course, he's in the faster kart, so what I have to do here essentially is get the checkered flag and get ready for the final. But if we had one more lap, oh, I would have done something. But luckily, I only lost 2 positions, dropped into 5th, and here we are setting up for the final race. And let me tell you, it was a tough one. It was this race really tested my patience, really tested the kart's abilities and my chance to fight understeer. I started getting understeer like it was nobody's business, and really it's nobody. Don't pay attention to me, okay? Let me race my race. Let me sneak by ya. Don't pay attention to me. But anyways, already lost a couple positions, and this because for the final race, You essentially wait 10 minutes after that last race, and then you jump right back into your kart. So your tires are still hot, heavy, like freaking Little Caesars pizza, okay? But it's not delicious. It's nothing you want to handle and deal with, okay? So already, I'm telling this guy, just freaking drive straight. Just go ahead, okay? Because this guy, if you remember from my previous video, it's one of the shameful rammers, okay? So I know I gotta get past him. He feels real comfortable in that neck brace and in that helmet of his. So I go, listen, if I gotta bump you a little, get past you, it's what I gotta do. But essentially, it seems like everybody's in the faster cart on the straightaways than me. I did well. Like, I would carry my weight and do well on the straightaways, but people seem to just get away or pass me. So here we are, fighting into the first corner again. And I'm trying to learn the braking points differently because I can tell my cart is slipping and sliding. We are no longer go-karting. We are freaking hockey players on an ice rink. But I'm able to sneak in past that guy. I shoved him off the track, and so I go, you know what? Have the position back. But I think back to myself, because we're going to see here in a little bit if I should have done that. You really gotta be conscientious. As I said, you gotta know what's going on. Be wary of your environment. As I said, my tires were an issue, so I knew I was probably gonna be bumping people off left and right on these turns. But listen, man, it's just what's gonna happen. And I'm stumbling over my words here, and that's because I didn't want to give the position back. But I was like, I'm going to be the good go-kart person here, the good racer. And I'm going to say, here, take it. Because you know what? I know the shameful rammer up here. I know eventually we can pass him. And you are an opponent that I want to handle. So, as you already saw, shameful rammer was hitting the dust. So this tells us, hey, green light means go. Dust in the air means go. We're going to make this pass eventually. So we kind of get a little human DRS train. Try and stick on the same racing line through this first turn. You see, we get a little out of sync. So that tells us, okay, someone's running wide, maybe braking a little too hard. And he does. He goes out way too wide. Allows us to make the pass. And this allows me to attempt to go in on the inside, and I do. I get my elbows out. Took him out to the dirt a tiny bit. I knew I was going in aggressively, but I didn't know that aggressively, okay? I'm sorry. So, but they hit the dust. They lost the position. I put my elbows out. Whatever. It happens. As you saw, I put my hand up, and I was like, what can I do at this point, okay? Because, and this is why I second guess giving the position back, because after this lap, we are going to see some things happen. Some things that I'm not too excited about, but they do happen. And if I had maintained the position, I often look back and go, if I maintained the position that first time, would any of this have happened? Or would I be well past them? Because look, we jump up here to the hairpin. I know I'm a little weak on the hairpin, but I know if I can just hold my ground, I can do well. I go out wide, and look who it is. I go, okay, maybe one is fine, but no, they came in a pack. And they freaking human DRS'd me like it was nobody's business, waving goodbye. And they just stuck up on each other this whole entire race. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is kind of my race for the rest of my race, was just trying to wait for them to make a mistake, catching up slowly, just trying to do well on my braking points, managing the tires, keeping my elbows out a tiny bit. And I do. Look, that. Oh, do I make the pass? Can I make it land? I do. I don't know what that kid's swinging at. That's dangerous. Don't ever stick your arm out of your car at another opponent. Bad things can happen. But look at this. I held my position. I did well. That cart is just extremely fast. Number 27. I have driven it. And let me tell you, it's insanely fast on the straightaways. It does well in the corners, but not too well. You really have to brake with that cart. And normally in the arrive and drive carts, there's no need to brake. You do carry enough speed, but they tend to lose it in corners enough that you can just let off a tiny bit. And look at that. I slam into him thinking I could freaking Daniel Ricciardo him, the late breaker, honey badger, get in there on the hairpin, and I don't make it happen. Instead, I became the shameful rammer. Shame. I will put my dunce cap in. Sorry, put my dunce cap on, sit in the corner, and try to learn from that mistake, and that is, don't try to late break people on the hairpin when you know your tires are like gone. But we got some fighting up here, so I'm thinking to myself, once again, the same thought process, let's make some magic happen. I've lost some position. I think I'm down in 9th place at this point. Started in 5th, down in 9th. I've lost 4 positions. It is a long race, and that's when you start thinking to yourself, these races are only 25, 27 minutes long. So, really, in reality, is it really that long? A little 30-minute stint just about? No, it's not. It's child's play, okay? So that's why you maybe after hours try to work out. But anyways, after some time, and I really do mean some time, this is like 3 laps later, I finally think I can catch up. But no, look who it is. A little speed racer saying, Kenny, I must pass you. I must make father proud. And we go into the first turn because he passed me. I'm like, you know what? You're in the faster cart. I tend to let off here. There's no reason for fighting him because this man's trying to break some records. This man's racing his race. This man literally has the goal to end up in F1 one day. Look, I'm just disappointed. I'm not even mad. Just disappointed in myself. Disappointed in my cart. So, but what can you do? Head down, race your own race, manage everything. Just try to manage and just not lose too many positions. If you lose one, you tend to lose multiple. But at this point, I just kept repeating to myself, no more. Lose no more. Please lose no more. Do not lose no more. And as I would come around these turns, I look, and there was a huge gap between me, actually now in 9th place, and the 10th place person, who was probably a second and a half, 2 seconds back. Oh man. So, here we are, finishing the lap. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Definitely had a good time. This was probably one of my best races. Definitely a great fight for podium, even though I only got podium once and then ended up dropping back for the other races. Definitely a lot to learn. Definitely a lot of growth to go there. But once again, like, subscribe, leave a comment, come back for more. I enjoyed the community we got going on, and hey, I'll see you for the next video.
I'm a high-performance athlete. Athletes sweat. Sweat, baby. Sweat, sweat.